Hey everyone, welcome to Pop XP. And before the show starts, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notifications when we go live and we upload awesome new content. And don't forget, if you can, make sure to share our stream on all your social media outlets. We appreciate it, and thanks for helping us grow the Pop XP channel. Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the brain of the mainframe here, Nile Scott with the Pop XP. And tonight I've got some great creators, and we're going to be talking some classic superhero talk. And we're not talking old books, though. We're going to be talking new books that are going to be hitting the scene. Some that are live right now, crowdfunding, and another that's getting ready and prepped, and we need to get you all on that mailing list. So without further ado, and by the way, if you're watching on LaPresti's show, make sure you tell Billy to get his rear end in here because we're doing this show right now. We got Austin joining us in the house, and we got Rex himself. The Devil Flyer is here. Gentlemen, welcome to Crowdfunding Comics. How are you both doing this evening?
Wonderful.
Can't complain. I'm here with you guys. What more could I want?
Exactly. Maybe a nice beer.
Cheers.
Cheers to that. So you guys have some really cool Devil Flyer. I mean, I've seen you in the chat for I don't know how long now. You've been a great supporter of our channel, our show. We deeply appreciate that, and that's why we want to do the same for you with your campaign going on. Austin, you're new to my world, but I'm glad you're here and to get to know what you're doing. And what I like about both of you guys is I feel like I'm dealing with some just good old-fashioned comic book fans who just like that good superhero escapism, you know, superheroes, villains, battling, saving the world, trying to destroy the world. Is the vibe I'm getting right?
100%.
Excellent.
You know, Seventh Heaven to me is a spinner rack with comics on it, and you see comics for the first time.
Yes, I have to say, do you guys have a spinner rack?
I have two.
Oh, nice.
I do not. My brother got that when we moved out of the house with my parents. So
you got to arm wrestle him for it. I'll tell you, man. I am so tempted. I look constantly for him, but I swear it's like you got to get one at the right time or something. You just got to almost buy it from someone who doesn't know what they have.
I got mine way back in the 80s.
Oh, there you go. You probably got it for practically free, if not free. Now people want holy smoke, even the rusted out ones, just $800, $900. And we get the ones that are still good. I mean, people want like $1,300, $1,500 for them. And if you can find one even older, I saw a great rack from the 40s, early 40s. And I mean, they wanted like $6,000 for it. I mean, obviously it's gotta be worth that thing's a freaking antique. So it was magnificent. But let me ask, I'm gonna start with you, Rex. Now, when it comes to superheroes and what you're into, who is your all-time favorite? What got you into the love of comics?
Oh, that's hard. First got a Marvel magazine with the origin of Morbius in it, and he's got a movie coming up, of course, in '73. But I was into monsters. I'm like Graham Nolan, like the monsters, but you know, it was really the cartoons of the '60s, which I call the golden age of comics, like the Herculoids and Space Ghost, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man 1967, and even the Marvel ones that took panel from panel, and now I can watch them and identify what artist did what. You know, they took
those were great
comics. Yeah. Hey, Pedro.
Now, what about you, Austin? What was your kind of dive in?
You know, my dive in had to be originally the Saturday morning cartoons of the Super Friends. That had to be my original dive. That led me to finding Mego action figures at the stores with my folks.
Yeah.
And then the first comic book I bought, I remember this vividly. I was 5 years old and grew up in Chicago and was being babysat by my grandmother. I'm at my grandmother's house. She gave me 50 cents to walk down the busiest street in Chicago, Ogden Avenue, from her house all the way to the drugstore, where on a spinner rack, I picked up a copy of Defenders 18, cover by Gil Kane, interiors by Sal Buscema and Dan Green, story by Len Wein, and a candy bar. 50 cents got me both of those things. The candy bar is long gone. It was a marathon bar. You remember the marathon bars?
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were kind of like twisty pretzel kind of. Yeah, they were super long. That's right.
Twisty. Yeah.
Right.
Braided.
And,
Yeah, like braid.
I
Yeah,
love
braid.
them.
yes, braided exactly. And
I
the
don't
reason
blame
why
you
they
for not getting two comics.
the reason why those candy bars don't exist anymore is because at the time they were too big to fit in candy machines.
Yeah.
So they went the way of the Charleston Chew. But I still have that comic book to this day.
Yeah. When one of the first ones that I got was Defenders 15.
Ooh.
And that had Professor X in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
and the Magneto and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And
right.
actually, I just got a small stack of 5 or 6. A neighbor had broke his leg, and that was one of my first. I didn't even realize, but it was Avengers and early George Perez that got me collecting.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
even know that they went from issue to issue like a soap opera.
Right.
Once I found that out,
it was all over.
I wanted more bang for my quarter, so I went with one with a lot of group of characters in it.
Yeah, I always loved the groups: the Defenders, the Avengers, the Justice League, the X-Men.
Yeah.
The Defenders, the first issue that I bought, the group of villains in this were the Wrecking Crew. It was their first appearance.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just loved it. Fell in love with it, and never stopped.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Defenders are one of those that doesn't get enough airtime, enough play.
No,
agreed.
They don't.
Agreed.
I think it seemed like they were trying to do something with it, but that got washed.
Yeah, but it had a good long run.
It did.
Sure.
It did.
About 150 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a thing on the last 2 years of Adventure Comics, and that ran 503 issues. Wow. And I'm like, you got to be stupid to stop one of your, one of 4 big titles at the time. You had Action and Superman, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if Superman was out, but you had Adventure. You had more fun comics in the golden age. And,
hey, what's up, Pops?
Hey, Pops. And the last 2 years or so, they came out with a little digest size, which had a new story with reprints of some of the older stuff, and especially those early Jim Shooter Legion of Superheroes stories that he was telling in junior high when he was 13 or 14 years old. And I thought, why can't you make this work? This is an anthology, like my book coming out. It's an anthology. It can be anything you want.
Anything you want.
Why do you want to cancel it after 503 issues? It was a bonehead move. Shame on DC.
Bonehead moves. That's what they're doing in mainstream. I mean, everything they're doing is a bonehead.
Well, that gives
move.
us an opportunity.
Exactly. Take it over, right?
That's right.
You got to.
I want it now.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to wonder what they talk about in those boardroom meetings that would make them cancel that comic book.
Yeah, and I loved it in digest form, because some of the first comics that I got in that stack of my neighbors was like those 60-cent DC that had all reprint stuff from the 60s. So you got to see Kurt Swan,
love the little digest,
Legion, and just wonderful stuff,
Yeah.
But I was a Marvel guy primarily.
Yeah.
But artist is a DC guy.
Nice.
He likes Marvel.
Yeah. On the other end of the spectrum from the digest, I think my favorite thing to get when I was a kid were the old Treasury editions.
Oh,
the big tabloid comic books. I have a ton of them, and it's like bags and boards. You couldn't find them for that. I always just stuck them in my bookshelf. Where else do you put them?
Yeah, I mean, you have to specially cut something to keep them nice, don't you? Cut the plastic.
Right.
Exactly. Some cardboard. I got a few of those in what I call my vault. It's my room where I keep all my books and everything. And honestly, I keep them laid flat on top of the comic boxes, because I've got the drawer style. So I lay all those on the top, and I lay them flat. Because they have stuff you can kind of put them in now. I'm just too lazy to buy it.
Well, I have a better collection now. Golden Age, Silver Age, Copper Age. I mean, Bronze Age, Copper Age, what I call the
Plastic Age.
Hey, Billy!
Look who's in the
guys,
house.
what's up?
Did you win?
Yes.
This is a good thing you won. I've been waiting for you for a while.
Guys, me and Graham Nolan tied.
Did you
It was
tie?
crazy.
Really? Well, at least you'd have to arm wrestle.
Well, you had an advantage, Billy. He's just getting over COVID.
That's true. He's in a COVID fog.
Yeah.
What were you playing, Billy? That Doctor Doom old maid game?
No, he's got Aaron Lepresti, and he puts so much work into it. Does a trivia game. So it was about Christmas and the holidays. So there was like Christmas, and I got one wrong, and then I got I always like to swing for the fences, make it all dramatic. And then I lost. I missed Charlemagne, who was proclaimed king of the Holy Roman Empire in 800 AD, and I didn't know. I said Constantine. I got it wrong.
Now that's
Constantine, Charlemagne, whatever.
Some
Close
French
enough.
dude.
It's all made up.
It's all
Yeah,
right.
it is.
The one
I
with the guy.
apologize for being late, so I'm here. Nah, are you drinking?
Yeah, I'm having a beer.
Heavily.
Well, yeah,
All right,
we didn't know if you were going to show up. We thought we'd
seltzers. Let me get a seltzer.
snooker.
I got a.
You need to catch up, Billy.
Rex,
Soda and vodka. Let me go
Rex
get it.
funneled 2 beers right before you got on. He's going, and Austin ordered his Heineken keg that he's waiting to come up. They're chilling it right now.
Yep,
Yeah,
it's
I'm thinking
right
of
over there.
getting in I'm thinking of getting in the stand-up shower there here in a minute.
It's not water that comes out. That's tapped into another keg. He just turns it on and opens his mouth.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, because I mean, what you're doing is obviously bringing back a certain style of comics, something that a lot of us, I think, long for. I mean, the comics of today, I mean, are heavy dialogue. Just have things that are just, where's the adventure? Where's the fun? Where's the excitement? Yeah, we know what's going on in the real world, but we kind of want to escape those things. That's my opinion. I kind of want to go in these books and enter a fantasy world that I know can never exist. I know I'm not going to look like that. I want them to look like they can save me, right? And kick ass. And I mean, what is your guys' take? I mean, I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page, but I mean, we read these articles, we see what's going on. I see creators in mainstream right now, right? I was just looking at one Twitter thing, and it's like the first thing in the description is "I killed comics," and they're proud of that like tag. But I'm like, that's not something to be proud of.
Well,
right?
they're not invested in it. I mean,
No, they're not.
These people don't buy comics, but they'll gladly tear it down, destroy it.
Yeah, I mean, is that something? Do you feel as creators in Austin? You've been doing this for a while. Rex, you're going into this. Coming in new with everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this something you want to try to battle? Like bringing in good, just escapism books that don't necessarily, stick to one essential topic?
Go ahead, Austin.
Oh, okay.
I thought you froze Austin.
No. Hold on.
He's like, why is he getting on this topic?
You know what, man? At the end of the day, comic books are all about good storytelling. Mm-hmm. And you tell good stories with a good script, and you tell it with fabulous art. That's what it's all about for me. What I'm doing with the Masters, it's my love letter to the Bronze Age, because I was born in 1969. I graduated high school in 1986. I mean, that's the beginning and the end, technically, of the Bronze Age. And I miss it. I miss it so much. Were the stories better then? In my opinion, yes. But maybe I'm just waxing nostalgic. I don't know. But I do know that I love Peter Parker. I love the thought that I could be Peter Parker. I could get bitten by a radioactive spider and become a Spider-Man. Those are wonderful thoughts and ideas. And, it's part of great storytelling. Mm-hmm. And if you have something to say, if you have a story to tell, you need to tell it. That's what I tell everybody. I say, man, I can't believe you started your own publishing company and you're doing this. And how did it happen? How do you give some advice to some other people? Just do it. If you have a story inside you, you should always be walking around with a spiral notebook or a legal pad, writing stuff down that inspires you. If you're an artist, One of my best friends is Art Baltazar from DC Comics.
Oh, I love Art. He's great.
Love Art. Great. One of my best friends. We've been best friends or really good friends for
not too far from me.
Yeah. We 15, 16 years, we've been really good friends. He lives about an hour away from me. We get together every couple of months for lunch so we can drive a half an hour each way, you know, et cetera, et cetera. He's always walking around with a book, like a bound book with blank pages, just doodling, just coming up with ideas. We'll be sitting at lunch together and he'll be like, oh man, what's the name of that character in your book? The Black Owl? I'm going to draw him right now. And he just starts drawing stuff. Whatever inspires you, do it. That's the bottom line, man. It's all about telling the story, being a good narrator.
And
Rex, I'm sure you agree.
I think a lot of new creators, which, you know, I've been creating for quite some time, but never really got anything out there. It's the same thing with my artist, John. You know, he's 70 years old. So it's never too late to get into comics, you know.
Right.
He just wants to hear some good feedback and some love, you know, on this project. And I want to give it to him. You know, I'm going to do everything I can to promote this. I found out a few years ago that I'm a better writer than I am an artist. So, you know, that's a thing all in itself. And what you just said about always carrying a pad and pencil with you. I was on one of Pop's streams with Michael Barron in the chat, and I asked him, you have any advice for writers? And he said, always carry a pad and pencil around. You know, you have these ideas and they're fleeting and you get busy with something else or thinking, oh, I got to take the trash out, I got to take the dog out and go get a drink like Billy and catch up.
Well, I got my drink, but I got to tell you a story real quick if I can.
Sure. We were just talking about good storytelling, weren't we, guys?
Storytelling, yeah.
So me and Debbie order furniture that we find on Wayfair, right? It's not cheap. Now, I have an old Victorian house. Nile's been to my house. And we got a big family room. So the thing is, so the furniture comes today. Now, the thing is, in order to get to the room, though, Nile, you know, when you walk into my family room, it's only 36 inches. So we had to pick a couch and a sofa and a love seat that's around 30, you know, that's less than 30. So these guys are getting it. Finally, they get it in. They set it up, and it's gigantic. I took a picture of Debbie. Let me show you. Not now, but before, of her sitting on these couches. And
did you get oversized? I love oversized.
Yeah,
I'm a big guy, so.
The couch itself is like, it seems to be like,
maybe you're just small people.
Ground. It's gigantic,
Billy. That's a normal couch. You guys are just small people.
Yeah, but hang on. Let me text her.
Billy is larger than life. Come on, Nile. The Tooch. That's what we call them on this side of the Mississippi. The Tooch.
The Tooch.
Side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Well,
Austin, you're a young man compared to I and Billy, and Niles, you're even younger. You know, I and Billy are the same age. Class 84, you're class 86, so we're just.
I am.
I'm class.
I was born in 84.
Honey, send me that picture I took of you on the
There you go. Synchronicity.
There you go.
We could all share Nile as our son if we wanted to.
Yeah. I'll
Billy's
be right
got
back.
a pipe. I got a
I'm
pipe.
gonna take a picture.
Take a picture of that.
All right.
Hang on.
Going back real quick, guys, if I can interject.
Yeah.
Going back to the storytelling thing. I think one of the issues that we have, and it's not just with comic books, it's with anything, especially comic books and writing and telling a story, filmmaking, music, whatever it is. You want to tell a story. A lot of people get into the arts and they want to tell an agenda. They want to, I want to change the world. I want to make the world a better place. You know what I want to do? I just want, the world is always going to be the same.
Millions of dollars off comics. That's what I'm here. The money.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
All I want to do is tell a story, bring a smile to somebody's face, let people escape for a little while, not to bring the doldrums that are going on outside of these four walls into these four walls. I just want to tell good stories.
And
Well,
see,
I
everyone could do that, right? But just
Right.
don't like. I think everyone has the opportunity to have what they want, right? You can have whatever representation you want. You can have whatever you want, but don't change the entire industry for a small portion. Let everyone have a portion, right?
Comics
If
help.
if someone wants this type of book, let them have that type of book. If someone wants this type of book, then have creators that make that type of book.
Yeah.
I would love to. I'll be honest with you guys. I get so frustrated, but that's why we're here around Crowdfunding Comics, because we're focused on, you know what? Let's make the books we love for our fans, the ones that like what we're doing. And that's all we need to do. We don't have to worry about anything beyond that. But what drives me nuts is the fact that they've taken actually a very wide industry with many different genres, actually a very diverse group of characters. Just no one ever wants to focus on the fact that you have these characters that have existed for 30 or 40 years outside of the main characters, you know, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Flash, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they just kind of, they're wiping that away and they're saying, nope, this is how it has to be now. Well, like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. You can have books like that. That's fine. If you want to do that stuff or whatever it's going to be, but you can also do this. But I would really love to see, I want to like an industry competition. And I almost reached out. There was a day I actually posted it, and then I was like, do I want to do that? And I pulled the post down. I'm like, I had like Joe Quesada on. I had Jim Lee on it. I had all these guys on it. And I wanted to be like, can you all do me a favor? Please tell me what is going on in the industry. And right now, if you were to take some of the bigger names in comics, which aren't making books, but their names are on the titles of some of the biggest characters, and you pair them up with like, you know, a Chuck Dixon or Graham Nolan, and if these fans, if the comic book fans, the true comic book fans know these books are going on, where do you think the sales are actually going to fall? I really do think that if you start getting, you know, Walter Simonson and some of these guys back on some more books, I think you'd see sales really shoot up. Because the problem is your fans just aren't buying it because they're not appealing. But that's what's good about this. But if you also notice, very simple, I'll use that as an example. You've got Greg Capullo, you've got Scott Snyder. They're getting very heavily into crowdfunding. And you got a lot of other creators getting very heavily into crowdfunding. They're doing mainstream stuff, but they're making their mark on Kickstarter. You hear them kind of talking about Indiegogo. You buy that. That's a sign, right? Like if you notice that like other animals are walking away because this water hole is drying up and they're trying to find other sources of water, you may want to start following the other herds, because you can see that this section is going to dry up. And that's what's happening.
Yeah,
I don't. You saying word just threw me off. I don't know.
Comics helped me to become a reader as a child, you know, and I remember experience even in high school. You know, I'd never heard of doppelganger or any terms like that. I remember where I first read that in Aztec Ace, that short 15-issue run. Love Aztec Ace. Used to have a original page of artwork from that, you know. But it you know, it's books like this that. With George Perez.
Oh my God! I can't believe you held that up. I was just going to quote Avengers 181.
Yeah,
I was just going to quote it.
See, my character's homage cover to that.
Nice.
So that's why I have that.
Nice. Well, we're speaking of some great books. We're speaking of stuff, you know, that we love. Yeah. What's the quote, Austin?
What's the quote?
Well, you started talking about Nile. For lack of a better term, diversity in characters. And I remember a page in 181, and I actually I found a really nice, they did the Masterworks of that issue, Marvel Masterworks. I think that's what it was called. And I took a high-def print of the cover and the interior page that Byrne did. So you have the Perez cover and the Byrne interior page, and they're almost identical, and you rarely see that. And I blew them both up, printed them out, and I got both of those guys to autograph them for me.
Wow.
And I have them framed in my office downstairs. And there's a line. That's the issue where they decide that they're going to pare down the Avengers to only seven heroes. And instead of putting Hawkeye on the team, they put the Falcon on the team, because the liaison to the government, Henry Gyrich, says we need to take care of the affirmative action piece. And that means even, you know, with the Avengers. And Hawkeye's like, diversity, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he's like, diversity? what do you call aliens? And what do you call this? And what do you call that? And for that matter, what do you call superheroes, for goodness sake? There's so much diversity in comics. I think that's what drove me to comics, was that diversity. The Challenge of the Super Friends brought in diversity. The X-Men, when Cockrum took over, brought in diversity. I mean, there's just such a wide range of characters out there. I don't think we are at any loss for diversity in comic books. I don't think ever. I was doing a ton of research into the golden age of comic books to bring public domain golden age characters into present day so I can put them in my series, The Masters. And the stuff that was in the golden age, I mean, the female characters, the horror characters, the superheroes, male, female, whatever, it's just amazing what has been done in time. I mean, if people really looked at the history of comics, they would see it.
Well, look at Miss Fury that Billy did, you know. That's
Yeah,
an
right.
awesome book.
Right.
You know, any of that golden age stuff is just golden, you know.
Yeah, it came out 6 months before Wonder Woman, and it actually was created by a woman.
Right.
So there's been that, you know, and I think a lot of it too, though, is now they're trying to do, if you talk diversity, you had, you had Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. That was followed up by Ann Nocenti's run on Daredevil, which was just as praised, just as accepted. No one said, oh, there's a woman writing Daredevil now. Nobody cared about that. That's like 1982, 83.
Yeah.
You know, so there have been, it's probably, I think, traditionally a field that a lot of women didn't gravitate towards, because it really is kind of, the comics were created by men, and the people that bought comics were men. Sort of like the kids that buy army men and guns and things like, you know, little toy guns, cap guns, you know, stuff like that. The vast majority of them were males. So that was their audience. Again,
thanks a lot. Good ideas.
Yep. Thank you. And you don't see a lot of men bitching that they're not writing romance, you know, that they're not writing romance novels, because a lot of romance novels are written by women, right?
I've been trying to break in for 13 years.
Dude, I know. I've been doing those paintings for you and posing for your covers and all too.
The struggle is real.
It is.
Anyway, but am I wrong? I mean, right? You think about something like that, like romance novels. A lot of them, a vast majority of them, are written by women. You don't see men bitching that there's not. Well, you got a whole new audience. You have a whole other audience that they're
missing.
With these
and the only man you see in the romance novels is that damn Fabio guy.
Fabio, he's got it for all of us. Nile, I sent you an email if you got it with the picture of the couch.
Did you? Oh,
yeah,
wonderful. Let me just open up my email.
So now she stopped me because she's looking at new couches, and we're gonna have to get this sucker out. It means I'm gonna have to wrap it in.
Bro, big couches are the best.
Didn't you just say you got this couch?
Boom couches, bro.
Yeah, but bro, it's uncomfortable. It's so high off the ground, and it's like hard, bro.
Didn't you? Oh, you got this out of Wayfair, you said.
Yeah, we got it on Wayfair, and it wasn't cheap. Let me tell you.
Yeah, so you weren't able to test it out.
No,
nope. That's the couches for those large Icelandic people.
Yeah, whatever. But again, like I said, if we were basketball players, we could sit there, because Debbie's feet can't even touch the ground when she sits on that couch.
Really?
Yep.
That's like my couch.
She's 5'3".
Maybe they are just little people.
I have oversized couches because when I lay on a couch, I don't like my head or feet, like, because if I lay on a couch, my head like hangs over the freaking armrest, you know. So I bought couches that I can lay actually in between the armrests.
You need to get a sectional, piece them together.
I can't. I would have done that, but my living room doesn't afford me that luxury.
Yeah, in our house we can't do that.
Let's start a GoFundMe for
my parents' basement, you know. No,
that's right. You should live in your parents' basement. That's right.
Don't ever buy a house an architect had. I'm just gonna say that they just design weird shit. It just doesn't work.
Well, you know, on my new YouTube channel, I feature production art, original art. I want people to know about comics and how they were made back in the day. My own comic was made like that with paste up lettering and everything. You know, I mean, that's the way we've done it in the past, and that's just the way we had to do it. you know, on my artist. But yeah, I want them to know something about the process of yesteryear so they can appreciate the effort to get of publishing comics out of Sparta and out of World Color for Marvel and other places. I used to work for World Color printing. I was in the bindery section, but I got to see a little bit of it all.
Oh, cool. All right, so here's the couch.
Yes.
Ooh, oh, that's not that big.
Dude, look how high it is. Like
what the heck is that? Is that a shark? Does your couch have like a shark fin in the bit?
Yes.
Dun 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 dun.
Look at all these pillows.
Dun 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 dun.
Stupid shithole cat right there.
Dun 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 dun.
Oh, that's a cat. I thought that was part of the pillow.
No, that's
dun, dun, dun,
dun. Yeah, I don't even see the cat. Oh, there he is.
That's not a big couch. That's a great
like
couch.
A brindle color.
And then there's a love seat on the other side. It's too big.
The
love seat is the size of a regular sofa.
And it's uncomfortable. Look how high it is. It's so freaking high.
That's not that high.
I love the samurai outfit in the back. It reminds me of this outfit that Matchbox Fighting Furies came out with in the 70s. I mean, it looks like a giant version of that. Just spectacular.
Fucking TJ James. Of course he knows that.
Fuck
you, TJ. Get out of here.
You want it, TJ? You want to buy it, TJ? You want to come over and help us wrap it and stretch, wrap whatever that is?
It's a Victorian scrollback sofa. You bastard.
It looks beautiful.
No, it doesn't. It's too big. I can go take another picture of another angle you could see it.
No, it's fine.
I believe you, man. I believe you.
I think it's a great place for you. It's a large area when you get kicked out of your room, which it sounds like pretty much often. It'd be a great spot for you to sleep.
Dude, I ain't sleeping.
And you have Debbie's samurai armor behind you. Just saying.
I don't sleep on the couch. I sleep on the couch with Rock and Dom will come over and we all have sleepovers.
Well, now all three of you can sleep on one couch.
I think so, yeah. No, nice. we're gonna have to get rid. We're gonna have to take all that, like I said, all the stretch wrap and all that shit. Stretch it and try to get it through that little entrance there.
It's called shrink wrap. I just remembered shrink wrap. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and we have a couple of rolls of it. But you should saw these guys if they're going to destroy a lamp trying to get it in. That's whatever a light. I'm like, oh my god! And they got it in, and it's gigantic. It's not comfortable. Skull, it's not comfortable. I'm getting rid of it.
Whatever, bro. It's fine. It's fine. Looks like that's a tiny couch for old scallywags. Just saying. Nile's
like, just you be you, Billy.
That's it. You be you, Billy. That's it. That's it.
Well, do any of you know? I've got to take this.
Rex is like, I don't give a crap about the couch. I just want to show you my comics.
I want to show you my comics.
Look at my comic books.
Who is this? Who is this? Billy, come on.
Is that Kato and Green Lantern?
No, that's 1949.
Is that Peter Lorre?
No.
Charlie Chan?
No.
Raymond
Nobody
Burr?
can guess this.
Raymond Burr?
How about Jack
Carl
Kirby?
Malden?
Jack Kirby.
Really?
Jack Kirby and Joe Simon as the police officer.
No shit.
He looks kind of chubby.
Yeah, well, he was a little chubby.
I see it now. I see it now.
Yeah, you see it now. He's younger there, 1949. And that's Joe Simon grabbing his arm there. He's a police officer.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
I thought the gun was Kato's mask.
I thought it was too. I'm with you.
Well, let's get into
just too much reflection.
Let's get into some of your guys' comic talk. So let's start, Rex. Let's start with you. You know, we've known you through the community and everything, but now you got your book going up, and you just launched your email list for your book. So tell us a bit about Devil Flyer #1, black and white ash can.
Yeah. Decided to release a short little ash can, give it a preview. That way people won't have to pay a ton for a 48-pager if they don't want to. Just a good little introduction, you know, they can little preview. And it'll be 48 pages. It's an anthology, and have other characters, the Inner Man, other features like a story, 2-page story called Crawl Space that introduces another character. And just what are the other features? I should have wrote them down.
Tell us about the character. I mean, you got a great design.
The character.
I love the look of it.
he's kind of a mashup character. You know, you think, well, Hawkman, he's got wings, but you know, inspired by other creations like Kurt Wagner for the tail, and he's kind of a Doctor Strange Spawn type character. He's got an agenda to do good, but for everything he does good, there's a price to pay for the character. And like Thomas Paine says there on that double page spread, it says, these are the times that try men's souls. And that's his soul's been tried. And this is just an introduction to him, the inner man, interconnecting universe, the momentum universe. That's the cover to the ash can. That'll be exclusively. I have an artist in Jackson, Tennessee, lifelong friend that's from college time. That will be hand coloring each cover. It will be, the insides will be black and white for the ash can, and probably we'll put it as a color stretch goal for the book, but it'll probably be glorious black and white, and I'm fine with that with color covers. And we'll have variant covers. But that's the one for the ash can that'll be, and the sign up's not going to be up that long. Sad to say, but the 48 pager will launch March 1st. So we've got a short window there. I want to get this ash can out to people. That's the opening page there. And just like the Marvel way, and in fact, I wrote the dialogue after I did thumbnails, and he went from my thumbnails and drew it. A Devil's Weapons, what it's called, the main feature, and that's about 36, 37 page story that's already been penciled, inked, and lettered. So the main story's finished. I just got these files back that you're using here. We had to use some digital cleanup because we did do paste up lettering, and I wanted to erase the shadow lines, of course, make it look as nice as it could. I think John knocked it out of the park. Like I said, my artist is 70 years old. Never had anything published. Hopefully in number 2, he's got a story. I have to clear it with the writer of the piece, but he's already got a 10-page story that he did back in the day that might be in number 2. We'll see. Being an anthology gives you a lot of flexibility. And these characters from the very first issue will be interconnected along with the dialogue. They are all connected, and they will meet eventually, and the staple of characters will just grow and grow as the issues come out. This is nice. I will probably, my next campaign will be for the secondary character in this issue called the Inner Man, and he will probably get his own his own book, and then I'll switch off from doing Devil Flyer to Inner Man. But the Inner Man, Devil Flyer will, and I've got most of that written on the Inner Man story. That's why, and it just grew and grew and grew, the story. So it'll probably be an issue by itself, and then we'll swap back to, we'll still be working on Devil Flyer and introducing some of my main characters. Actually, I just created him in like September of 2018. So he's a relatively new character. So is Inner Man. I actually have a cover with 4 of my main characters, and already completed. John's already done that, so we're ahead of the game, and I'll be working on the backup material. I've got about 18 pages to do on it, but and hopefully fulfill before the For Fans Fest in October, so that everybody can have it fulfilled and in their hands. They'll certainly have the ash can. Probably at the onset, they should get it around March 1st.
I think the For Fans is going to be November.
Okay, well,
Con's in October, so it's probably last week we talked that I recall it was like early November.
Okay, well that's
you don't want
great.
To compete with New York Comic Con or Baltimore.
My birthday is November 2nd. That'll be a good birthday present.
That'd be
and,
there you go.
And it gives me a little bit more time. But yeah, I'm wanting to get just this first book out into people's hands. With the splash page. I started with the splash page and this page here. This is actually page 2 and 3 a double, sort of a Kirby double page spread right after you show the character in peril. I wrote the story all in one day, wrote 16 pages, and then added 8 to that. I cut one page that John put in there because not all the characters were introduced yet. It was kind of like an introduction page, but I didn't want to put that in there. He added a couple pages and a little epilogue at the end of the story, and I added a couple pages to kind of hint at his origin in the middle of the book. Mm-hmm. So it kind of evolved over time. Tried the Stan Lee method. I just did thumbnails. He did the artwork, and then the dialogue was the last thing to go in there. And if the character's mouth wasn't open or turned, not a lot of dialogue. I mean, it's sparse on dialogue, but everything's in there for an introduction and all the action and, you know, thrills from the first page. I wanted to engage you from the very first page. You know, he's already in trouble. Well, we'll revisit that about 16 pages later into it when he's getting dropped into the drink there, you know, and how he wound up there. And then it'll resolve itself. It's all, these will be complete stories in themselves, but they hint at future events, you know.
Can you tell us a bit about the main character, though? Is that, you know, what are his abilities? What have you created with him?
Well, I don't want to give away too much, but he was born in 1899. So that's going back a while. So he saw, of course, World War I and World War II. And like I said, my ideal for him was a little night crawler because he's got the tail, but it went with the theme as well. And a little Doctor Strange. I wanted a character that was kind of Doctor Strange. We retooled his helmet the way John drew it, which made it more superhero fare. Mine was more Roman helmet, you know, in the face. But this is what we've come up with, and it was indeed a collaboration. And I wanted a character with foibles, of course. You make the power, you know, like Kal-El, everything God, that means. Superman, he's near infallible. And this guy's definitely got foibles. He's got a lot of experience under his belt. Of course, all that'll come out. He goes up against Cy Marco, which is the head of a crime family. And I haven't said it, but I would say it's kind of like Austin up in Chicago, kind of a crime-ridden city. And
oh, come on, man! Why do you have to go there?
Their pizza's a crime.
Yeah.
Anyway,
did you say that, Billy? Did you say that?
I didn't say that. My boy from the pizza cap of the world, apparently.
Hell yeah,
Connecticut. Nile Scala said that.
Man, Nile, we already talked about pizza in the green room today, so you know that's just fake news, man.
I won't know until I experience it.
All right,
that's right. And the mail up's up there, as you see. Finally got it
garbage,
up there.
Nile. It's crap. Crap.
We're talking about pizza. We're not talking about Devil Flyer. I'm just letting that.
No, we're talking about the pizza.
Yeah. Well, I love pizza.
Flyer's badass.
Well, Devil Flyer, the mailing list is up. There's a description. In the description below, you're going to see a link. Also, I have posted it in the chat. Herrenberg and a couple other wrenches have posted it as well. Head on over and start building. Let's build this up. Let's get this ready, and let's get a good. I'm just loving. There's something about this art, man. It's taking me back. It's taking me back.
Page. I'll have the logo up there where it says earlier in the day or whatever. I'll have the Momentum Concepts up there, and that's going to be a double page print. Again, that's kind of
screams golden age to me.
Yeah,
like I love just the simplicity, but there's simplicity, but the technical aspect of the drawing, the anatomy, right? Even the perspective of the buildings and everything on how the inking and like the brickwork's great. You know, it's like it's detailed, but it's subtle. Right.
And there's little in that John puts a little Easter eggs in there, you know, back there on a billboard. I don't know if you can see it, but behind him,
Flight.
it says Fly.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
I got little Easter eggs. On one page, he's got the Daily Planet, the planet on top of the building in the background, and just little homages like that. The page that I took out had a Star Wars homage to it, but
Nice.
and I'm not throwing that away. I'll use that in a future. I just want to make sure all the characters are introduced first. I don't want to force. I want it to be organic and tell a good story, get a good story in people's hands. I've got a 2-page text. That crawl space story is only going to be 2 pages, and introduce another character, but it's mostly text. In the old comics, you would have text stories, and this certainly has the visuals with it, but I want to show off some of my writing chops in some of these other stories, and I don't want, if it doesn't feel right, I have another feature called Second Skin, and this will be ongoing. These will be on Crawl Space and Second Skin, and Interman, of course, he'll get his own book, kind of like Showcase used to do, introduce characters from DC Comics and give them a trial run. But I'm going to be switching off and interlinking in between 2 books, and this is just the beginning of it. And like I said, it's fully penciled, fully inked. At least the main story is. I've got 18 pages to work on the backups on. John's working on a trading card right now. I already have a trading card. Everybody that gets the ash can will get a trading card with it. And I want that golden age feel. I want that bronze age feel, whatever. I want to bring the fun back into comics and glorious black and white. And if there's hopefully in the future, we can get it in color and have a color edition on another campaign.
There you
If
go.
we can do it this campaign, we'll do it this campaign.
Exactly.
As I said, Pedro is going to work on a short trailer for us for the main campaign. And, hopefully it's got something for everyone, a horror element. I'm a big proponent of film. I think cinematically with shots myself. So you'll get to experience my art and John Falande's art in this. And in the ash can, you'll get to have a pinup done by the colorist who's going to hand color every color of every cover of the ash can.
Oh, very nice.
So,
very nice.
We want to make it a unique experience.
Yeah. Well, once you go live, though, we'll definitely have you back on so we can dive into that ash can and check that out. So, speaking of diving in, let's check out another great book. And this one's now from Austin. Austin, you have your campaign up on Kickstarter called The Masters #1, a classic superhero versus super villain comic. Again, even with some of a lot of the art I'm seeing in yours, I'm getting that same vibe. Just that classic superhero. Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age. I know that's what you were looking for, and I think you achieved it. So,
thank you.
Hey, cover's awesome. Love the cover. What? Tell us about this.
Yeah, you know what, man? I have been collecting Mego action figures for decades, and over the course of time, I started making my own custom Mego action figures. So one day, about 20-some years ago, I was watching an old Adam West Batman show, and I was, those characters, the villains especially, were just crazy, bodacious, in your face, colorful. And I thought, what a great villain would be, inspired by Salvador Dali, the great surrealistic painter, right, from the 20th century. And I came up with the guy in my head. I called him Surreal Ordeal. I gave him a palette of magic paint. And I'm like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if he robbed a bank and he painted something on a wall and he jumped through it like an interdimensional kind of a thing, like a portal. And I'm thinking, Chief O'Hara would never chase after that guy, right? Going into a world of flaming giraffes and melting clocks and all this stuff. And I forgot about him. And it was about 2 years ago where I was running out of characters to make custom Mego action figures of. I mean, there's only so many variant versions of Spider-Man I can make, right, that would fit into the Mego world, that all of a sudden I remembered Surreal Ordeal, and I decided I was going to make him. and I'm looking at him as an action figure, which you can see on the site. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see my action figures of my villains. I made those first. I actually came out with the toy line before I came up with the comic book story. And so I did everything bass-ackwards, you know? And when I made Surreal Ordeal, I thought, you know what? He needs to have a crew. He needs to have a bunch of guys with him. And I thought, okay, you went a little too far. I thought, okay, I'm going to make a list of my favorite artists of all time, see which ones are the most visually stimulating. I'm going to create action figures of them, and I'm going to give them superpowers that relate to their art or whatever. And next thing I knew, I had Renee Magritte, I had Ansel Adams. From left to right, you've got Toulouse-Lautrec, Ansel Adams, Salvador Dali, Keith Haring, and Renee Magritte, all inspired villains. And if you go up a little bit more, Nile, you'll see them individually. And I photographed them against the Superman Aurora model kit background.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little tribute, right? Mm-hmm. So I put these guys together as a team, and then I'm like, okay, I always post my custom action figures on the internet. And I'm a pretty prolific customizer. Everybody in our little group of customizers, you know, I'm known worldwide. I've probably done 650 to 700 customs in the last 20, 25 years. But if I posted these without any kind of backstory, nobody would know who the heck they were. So I wrote down backstories of these guys. I came up with alter egos and superpowers and relatives. I did a basic who's who on these guys. And then I thought, wow, you know, this is so cool. Why don't I do a full comic book story on this? And that's when I threw these guys into a DC Comics Brave and the Bold type of world where Batman was the main superhero and every villain would be fought against by Batman and a superhero team up. So he would grab Hawkman to fight this guy, he would grab the Flash to fight this guy, and so on and so forth. Well, I thought the figures were cool. I thought the plot summary was cool. And I threw it at my buddy Art Baltazar when we went out to lunch a couple years ago. And he loved it. He's like, oh my God, Austin, this is really good. This is a classic Bronze Age superhero versus supervillain story. You've got original supervillains. You've got DC favorites like Batman and Green Arrow and the Atom. You made it a Brave and the Bold type of a team-up kind of a book. There's a lot of homages to, you know, Jim Aparo and all these other guys in it. This is a really cool thing. Why don't, in 2 weeks, when C2E2 is in Chicago, we get together and we pitch this to Dan DiDio at DC Comics? Well, I think we all know what happened to Dan, and we all know what happened to DC Comics. I mean, it went into utter turmoil. They laid off 250 people. So basically, I was left holding this story that, you know, one of my buddies who works at DC Comics thought it was great, with nowhere to go with it. So I decided that if Art thinks it's really good and it's worthy of being published, I'm just going to incorporate a publishing company and self-publish through Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something. And next thing I knew, I was getting help from some buddies of mine doing research on Golden Age superheroes that were in the public domain that we could swap out with the DC heroes, you know, for copyright and trademark. We were talking about upgrading their looks. And then we were talking about, okay, well, I'm writing the story. I think I've got a good handle on that, even though it's the first story I've ever written. How do I get my favorite artists to draw it? And the consensus was that I needed to approach my favorite artists to do covers for it. They weren't going to be willing to do interior pages. They're all my favorite guys, they're in their 60s and 70s or even later. And they're like, they don't want to do sequential art anymore. They just want to do a cover commission and they'll be happy. You go find some, you know, kid out of junior college that you can get on the cheap to do the interior pages. Well, I reached out to Joe Rubinstein. Joe and I had become friendly over the last few years. I ran into him, met him in a Milwaukee show with Art Baltazar, Alex Saviuk, Stefan Rue. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to reach out to Joe and say, Joe, you know what? I'm looking for these guys to draw some covers for me. I know they're friends of yours. I'd like you to ink them. Can you put me in touch with them? And he said, great, I will. No problem. This sounds cool. So he put me in touch with Alan Weiss, Ron Wilson, and Kerry Gamble. Next thing I know, I'm getting an email from Alan Weiss the very next day saying, hey, man, this is a really cool story. I dig these characters. I love the artists. Toulouse-Lautrec is my favorite artist of all time. Let's talk. He sent me his phone number. I called him up on a Sunday at 6:30. 3.5 hours later, he said, I'm in for the cover, but I need to ask you a favor. And I said, sure, Alan, what's that? He said, can I draw an interior chapter for you? And I said, and I'm thinking to myself in my head, I'm thinking, who am I to say no to Alan Weiss, right? So I say, of course you can. What did you have in mind? He's like, well, you've chaptered these out by villain, right? Can I have the chapter that has the Toulouse-Lautrec inspired character? Because the cool thing about the Lautrec inspired character is that he has really nothing to do with painting. In my story, he's a failed artist that became a world-class, world-famous assassin. So he knows all kinds of martial arts. He's a weapons expert. He's 4 feet 8 inches tall, and he's totally unassuming. Nobody would think this guy would be able to kick their asses, okay? Everybody takes him for granted. And Alan loved that. And I said, sure, man, have at it. So I sent him what I had as a script, plot summary. I sent him pictures of the action figures. And the next morning I wake up. Now, Alan's a night owl. I go to bed real early. So I wake up as he's just sending me an email with sketches he drew of the character. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And in the email, he said, listen, you've got the Black Owl as your Batman figure, or Batman character now. And then I replaced DC's Red Tornado with a Golden Age hero called Twister, right? Similar powers. Alan says, hey, you don't mind if I take a stab at recreating Twister for you, do you? And again, I'm thinking, who am I to say no to Alan Weiss, right? So I say, have at it. The next morning I wake up and there are sketches of Twister. Now, Alan Weiss's sketches are most people's pencils and inks. I mean, they're unbelievable. They're just fantastic. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, Alan Weiss flipped the script on me. He did everything that everybody told me these guys didn't want to do. He wanted to recreate a character. He wanted to do sequential art. And I used that to go after my other favorite artists. The next thing I knew, I was on the phone with Ron Wilson. And Wilson was like, yeah, man, I want this villain. I'll do this chapter. And I'll recreate the superhero that goes with it. And I'll do you a cover. And everybody just felt like dominoes. You know, I was able to get Bob Hall, and I was able to get Belle Merrick and Arvell Jones and Al Saviuk. And then everybody who had been agreed to be on the project said, hey, why don't you call up this guy? Why don't you call up this guy? Here's Bart Sears' phone number. Why don't you call Tom Grummett? Here's Tom's email. And so on and so forth. The next thing I knew, I've got like 40 of my favorite artists doing everything from sequential art to covers to pinups to black light posters. You guys are familiar with Tom Morgan. I got him to do an homage to an old Kirby Fantastic Four black light poster with all of my superheroes.
Wow,
so
cool.
it's just been an incredible ride. And you know, I don't know what else to say other than, man, you should take a look at my Rolodex in my phone. It's unbelievable. I never thought I'd be sitting here looking at all these names and phone numbers that I can call, you know, spur of the moment and say, hey, how's it going, Joe? Just a fantastic time it's been the last year.
That's awesome. So I'm looking at this, and how many issues are in this series?
It's going to be 5 issues total. Each issue will have 2 covers. There will be multiple cover recreation pinups. I mean, one of the coolest things I've been able to do is I've been able to get original artists on my favorite covers to do homages to their own covers. So if you scroll back down a little bit, you'll see Bart Sears did an homage to his Justice League Europe cover. I was able to get Al Milgrom to do an homage to his Avengers David Letterman cover, where he makes David Letterman old with a big beard like he has today, and my characters are in the background instead of the Avengers. Alex Saviuk and Jeff Isherwood, I got them to team up to recreate their West Coast Avengers annual #1, where you've got the silhouette of Quicksilver's back facing the reader, and all of the Avengers announcing that, wow, the bad guy stands among us. Here he is. It's just amazing stuff. I got Ramona Fradon to do a recreation of one of her Plastic Man covers, because we have a stretchy superhero like Plastic Man, and I think it was Plastic Man #11. She took our stretchy hero, his name is Plymo, who only appeared in one comic book back in the 40s. So recreating him and updating his backstory was a lot of fun. We had a lot of creative freedom with that. And Ramona took him and she wrapped him, just like she did Plastic Man, around all of my villains. Darryl Banks did a recreation of X-Men 133, where Wolverine is chopping up the Hellfire Club. It's just been a fun ride, man. It's my love letter. There's Darryl with his cover, Alex with his, Bart with his. And then if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see Romeo Tung Hal, who did an homage to John Romita Sr.'s Bring on the Bad Guys cover. And everything about this, again, it oozes the Bronze Age. We've got fake Hostess ads like they ran back in the 70s. We've got some mazes like Marvel did with fun and games. I brought Mort Todd in to do all the coloring and all the lettering. He's the only guy that is consistent throughout all of the books. You know, the books read as an anthology because you go from one artist to the next. The first book is the most interesting because it pretty much goes 4 pages, Pat Broderick, 4 pages, Jeff Isherwood and Al Milgrom, 4 pages, Al Saviuk, 4 pages, Ron Wilson, 4 pages, Val Merrick, 4 pages, Mike Gustovich, and then the final 4 pages are back to Pat Broderick to tie it all together. So it's been a blast. Again, it's just a simple good guys versus bad guys story where the bad guys have all of these cool powers that are based in some kind of an art. Thanks a lot, Victor. Appreciate you, man. But all their powers, you know, they're kind of, again, they're inspired by the old 66 Batman show. So I've got, you know, essences of 66 Batman, essences of the Brave and the Bold from the 70s, essences from the greatest artists of our time. And the leader of the Masters, who is the big reveal in the story, if you go all the way up, Nile, to the first page that Pat Broderick did, you'll see in the foreground is Ponce de Leon standing at the Fountain of Youth with the eventual leader of the Masters in the background. And he has come to get an audience from Ponce de Leon. And what I love about Rex's story, he has that Thomas Paine quote. He has that Thomas Paine quote on that first page, right, Rex?
Sorry, I was muted there. So
no, that's okay. The Thomas Paine. I think yes. Brilliant minds think alike. In yes. Mine, I have Ponce de Leon quoting Mark Twain, where he says to the guy standing behind him, he can sense his presence. He says, "I see the rumors of your demise have been greatly exaggerated." So it's a guy everybody thinks is dead, and all of a sudden he shows up at the Fountain of Youth to request an audience with Ponce de Leon. This guy ends up putting the Masters together and leading them on one of the biggest art heists in the history of mankind.
If people aren't blown away by this, they don't like comics.
Yeah, I know. Wow.
You have Val Merrick, one of my favorites.
Val Merrick, co-creator of Howard the Duck. I'm going to tell you something about Val Merrick. He was the last guy to sign on to do this. He was the first guy to get his stuff done. That guy is a consummate professional.
Oh, yeah.
Marvel magazine that I talked about that had the origin of Morbius in it. He did some vampire story in that, and then of course the Living Mummy. He did a lot of those early Bronze Age Marvel monster related, supernatural thrillers, and Dracula, which was Gene Colan, and just love
the
that
cover
stuff.
of.
I mean,
he did a Val Merrick. My favorite Hulk artist is Sal Buscema, but my favorite Hulk image was a cover that Val did back in the middle 70s for one of those. I think it was a Marvel Premiere magazine. It was a painted cover. Remember all those painted covers of Conan and Hulk?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did an issue with the Hulk on the cover, and he's just rampaging forward to the reader. It is the best visual representation for my money of the Hulk I've ever seen.
Well, I love your Night Owl character. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Now I
Thanks
gotta
a
ask.
lot.
So you've got five. Is this campaign for all 5 issues?
No, it's just for one.
Okay.
Just for one. So we've got about a week left.
Yeah.
And we're just a hair under $21,000. I think we have a good shot at 25, and with a little luck, we'll get up to 30.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely. I mean, this is quite remarkable. Quite
Thank you.
remarkable. Wow. That's a lot to take in. I'm not gonna lie. I said to him in the green room, I said to Austin, I said, your campaign video is too long. It's 30 minutes. But now I know why. Now I know why. Yeah. There's a hell of a story behind this book. Holy shit.
With all of the 5 issues, just so you know, the plan is to kickstart each issue, and with each issue we're offering a smattering of Bronze Age goodness. So there will be things like all of our character images on Slurpee cups. We have a jigsaw puzzle. We have a Treasury-sized edition of issue number 5. We're doing an audio recording like the old Power Records of issue 5. I got Chuck Patton to do the cover art for it. And what he did was he took a Power Records Batman record and he just swapped out all of our heroes and villains for the ones that were on the record album. We have all kinds of different homages to the Golden Age characters. Like, for example, Joe Staten is doing a recreation of one of the few Black Owl covers from 1940. Mike Grell is doing a recreation of one of the only covers of Airman in the modern form, but in the same what's the word I'm looking for? The same. It's an exact replica of what he was doing on the cover. What?
In the same vein as
yeah, the same vein, right? Exactly. So we're paying tribute to the original creators in the story. You want to talk about Easter eggs? The comic books are littered with Easter eggs referring to all of the original artists and creators for the Golden Age heroes. Mm-hmm. A number of my favorite artists and creators who are no longer with us are tributed in the comic book. I actually have Jim Aparo as a character in the comic book, and Denny O'Neil, and Dick Giordano. We have references to Sal and John Buscema, Bob Kane and Bill Finger, Frank Frazetta, Norm Brayfogle. Dick Dillon is a police officer in the comic book. So all of my favorite artists growing up that are no longer with us, I had to get them in here somehow. Yeah. My thought was, if this is the only thing I ever do, man, I am going out guns blazing.
Nice.
But that's here's awesome. The icing on the cake. Here, I want to throw the icing on the cake before I forget. So all of these artists, Val Merrick, Alan Weiss, Al Saviuk, Ron Wilson, and Arvell Jones, reimagined these Golden Age heroes and gave them a modern spin. They've all told me that if I proceed to do individual titles for those heroes, they're all in to draw.
Wow.
So how cool is that? So So, we use this. If this is successful, which I'm pretty sure it will be, it already is, we springboard that. All of a sudden, we've got 6 individual titles for these heroes right off the bat.
Take my money. Take it now.
How is the first issue done? How far along are you?
I have all 5 issues in different levels of completion. All of them are at least 50% done. Issue 1 is probably about 75% done. I'm only missing 5 pages from Pat Broderick. And he's doing a big project for Mike Barron, so I'm not putting any pressure on him. And the stuff he can take as much time as he wants, guys, to be quite honest. If you see the original black and whites that he is penciling and inking and sending me, it's unbelievable. This guy has never been better. I've told it to his face. He was in Chicago a few weeks ago. I said, Pat, you are so on top of your game, it's not even funny. And this comes from a guy who is a huge Pat Broderick fan, me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So before we end the stream, though, tell me a little bit about your production schedule. How are these issues coming out?
Well, the production schedule, if you scroll down, I have it listed here. And again, it's all tentative. It's our best guess. We hope to have this issue funded and out in people's hands by April. Issue 2, we're hoping to have out by June. Issue 3 by August. 4 by October, and 5 for December. You passed it up, Nile.
I passed it already?
Yeah, you passed it.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
I'll let you. Yeah, no, I do. I have a lot of stuff in there.
Well, just tell everyone, then they can explore on their own.
Yeah. Issue 2, we're hoping to have out by June. Issue 3 by August. Issue 4 by October. Issue 5 by December. And I break it down in the Kickstarter homepage here. What are the different add-ons they'll be able to get, from Slurpee cups to the record to the puzzle. Action figures for all superheroes and all villains will be available. They'll be spread out over each issue. So, like issue 2 will be the first the first time we see the Black Owl. He will be available. Issue 3 will be the first time we see a couple of other heroes. Those will be available in action figure form. You guys remember Stretch Armstrong from when we were kids?
Yeah, sure.
I had one.
I'm making a Stretch Plymo action figure. Plymo is our stretchy guy.
Nice.
So I'm doing a Stretch Plymo action figure, a limited run of 10. I've 3D designed his head and made it the same scale as Stretch Armstrong, and got a bunch of Stretch Armstrongs, pop the heads off, put on my head. I'm an action figure maker by trade, right? So this is a no-brainer for me. But it'll be a limited run of 10 on issue 3 if you want to grab that as an add-on.
Oh, nice. And then TJ James says, hey, will all the pinups and extra stuff be included in the trade?
Absolutely, 100%. The trade will be in paperback form and hardcover form. It will include all 5 issues. It will also include a special issue 0 that I'm writing, which is kind of like the epilogue to the story, or the prologue to the story. It's everything that gives you insight into what happened before the story really started, what caused all of the chain of events. All of the pinups, all of the variant covers, all of the mazes, all of the hostess ads, everything will be in the trade. It will be all encompassing.
Perfect. Now, where can everyone follow you to keep up with your campaigns?
Well, if you look up Power Comics Inc. on Facebook or Power Comics Inc. on Instagram, those are the 2 best ones. Twitter, that's my personal account, but I pretty much use it just for the comic book now. That's just my name, Austin Hough, Hough. And then, of course, Kickstarter. I mean, you guys, I think, would agree Kickstarter is its own social media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. And also for you, Rex, how can everyone follow you in what you're building?
Devil Flyer Momentum. Since I've been on there, there's another Devil Flyer on there. So just look under Devil Flyer and Momentum. Of course, I have a YouTube channel as well, and I noticed I got a couple more people. I've got 58 subscribers now, so thank you all. CG's the best. And love the power stuff. It's great.
Fantastic. It's all good. You guys have some awesome stuff. I love it. Just classic superhero books. Great things. I really want to thank you guys for coming on and taking the time to chat with us. And I hope you get some people on your mailing list from being on the show. I hope you get some more backers, Austin, with your campaign.
Thank you.
That's all. I encourage everyone that's watching this live right now. It's watching it recorded. It is, you have, what are we looking at? You've got 7 days left. So this campaign ends on Friday, January 14th. For the Masters #1. There's a lot in the body of this campaign, so take your time, scroll through it, see all the artists, see the homage covers, see the interiors, see the stretch goals, see everything that you're going to get and what you're looking to invest in, because this campaign isn't just a one shot. You're buying a story. This one's actually an investment. You're starting with issue 1. You have your schedule throughout to the next 4 issues beyond that. So if you're looking for a good comic book arc, right? You're looking for a good series to invest in. This campaign to me is an investment. So I would definitely dive deep into everything that's in here and really look what's here, because this is quite impressive. It really is. I mean, it's just a rogues gallery of incredible artists and creators working.
Rogues gallery.
40 of them. Yeah.
Heroes gallery. Legends gallery.
I just want to add, Rex, I really dig what you're doing. I love the black and white thing. I'd love to do like black and white on my issues as well. I think that's really the true art form when it comes to comics. I used to think that all comics had to be colored, but I was at a show once and Al Saviuk was there, and I was flipping through his original pencils and inks from the Spider-Man dailies, because that's what he used to do that with Stan Lee and Joe Sinnott. And I saw this image he had of Rocket Raccoon, and it was the most unbelievable thing I ever saw. I fell in love with it, and I've never gone back. It's like original art. It's black and white, and that's it. So I love what you're doing, brother. Keep that up.
You can't hide. Someone said recently you can't hide. Color hides a lot.
Sure.
I'm not opposed to color, but yeah, black. I've got some of my favorites in my collection are black and white.
Yeah.
Billy, when you got more time, we're going to have to talk about our 3 favorites: Douglas Fairbanks Sr., Charlie Chaplin, and Steve McQueen. I knew we're going to get along.
What about Laurel and Hardy? What happened to Laurel and Hardy?
I personally,
Yes.
but I understand. I respect Fairbanks. I love him, but I'm more of an Errol Flynn guy, and I know if there were
Errol Flynn is the man.
there was no Doug Fairbanks, there'd be no Errol Flynn, but I'm more of an Errol Flynn guy. But that's going to be a great show.
I'm just going.
Who's a huge
Oscar time? Let's have an Oscar show, Nile.
There you go. Enjoy
I
that.
loved your pre-code movies, the horror movies.
Yes.
Oh yeah. We're going to be
series
doing that again. The Century Horror.
Yeah.
We're going to have to probably just focus on a year though, instead of like 3-4 years, or maybe even a picture or two, because we just get so into it, and it's so much to cover. So
I got
who's a huge
Chaplin movie. I went out and ordered it. I remember when that came out, but with Durst, that was in Spider-Man. Yeah.
That's the Cat's Meow. That's my friend Steve Peros's movie, which was directed by Peter Bogdanovich, who sadly passed away this morning at about 1 a.m. Pacific time. So I was talking to Steve, and he had been ill for a while. He had a stroke, and he wasn't in great health, unfortunately. He was 82 though, so
it's a good run.
It's a good run. You better believe it.
Well, this
time, like
Billy,
that guy had. Trust me, that guy had a damn good life.
this
Billy, I've got a Jimmy Palmiotti story for you if you ever want to hear it.
All right, well, let's save that because we could bring Jimmy on. Then let's do that.
That would be great. He's one of the reasons that got me back into comic books in the 90s.
All right, well, we should do a show, Nile, too. Like, let's talk about other creators, and
let's
we bring
some tea on Jimmy Palmiotti.
And they're good stories. We don't tell bad stories. We tell funny, good stories. So
I got it. Spilling the tea with Jimmy Palmiotti.
There you go.
Well, you know, Jimmy's gonna ink a couple pages in my book.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Wow, because Jimmy doesn't ink anymore.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He is gonna ink. He's gonna ink a splash page from Tom Grummett, and he's also going to ink a page from Stefan Rue, who we did some work with back with Power Girl and Harley Quinn.
Oh,
That's
nice.
fantastic. Then
Then you have to
Yeah,
get
it's
Amanda
exciting.
cover. You got to get Amanda on something. Come on, she's a gem.
You know what? If things go the way I think they're going to go, we're going to have plenty of work for a lot of people. I have been getting inundated with requests to read scripts, artists. I've had artists' wives call me or email me and say, "Hey, you got any work for my husband?" I'm like, "Really?" It's wonderful the vibe that I'm getting from everybody. It's very exciting.
Well, I can't wait to read this book.
I can't wait for you to read it either.
Yes. All right. Well, Austin, Rex, I appreciate you guys coming on, hanging out. Rex, hit me up when you're going live. We'll get you back on. I mean, if you just want to talk comics, just hit me up if you see we got a good day. Same goes for you, Austin. Good
Thanks,
luck
man.
with
Appreciate
everything.
you
Keep us
guys.
in the loop. If you decide to carry it over to INDIEGOGO while you're still producing, let us know and we can try to, bring it forth to some more people.
yeah,
And Tucci, my man, it's been a good week of streams.
Been a good week of streams.
Gotta get ready for the snow now.
Got snow. I had a flood in my basement, as you know. It's been crazy. Got this furniture.
Billy.
Oh, can we go to Can I share the screen, Nile Scan?
Yeah, go for it.
It snowed here today in Arkansas.
I just looked at.
Oh yeah, we've already had a good snow here in Chicago.
It said 1 to 24
and the wind
inches.
is crazy.
Our weathermen have no clue what's going to happen. They legitimately have something that says 1 to 24 inches.
No way. I didn't even start up my damn snowblower. All right.
No way.
All right. So here's the thing: this is for she. Let me refresh it too. I don't know if I refreshed it in a while. The omnibus edition, volume number 1. We have 5 omnibuses planned. Oh, we're over $187,000. Thank you all. This is a power video.
That's awesome.
This is what you have to do, Austin. Check out INDIEGOGO.
Okay.
So anyway, but here's the thing. This book has been to the printer since August. We've been waiting for it. The book is printed. I have the proofs. I have the final proofs right here. The book is all printed. The only thing we're waiting for is it to be bound. The book has not been bound and been sitting on the floor of the press because they cannot get the ribbons. I have a satin ribbon, which was one of our stretch goals, a 3/8 of an inch satin ribbon. That's going to hold the book up because they're back ordered still. That's going to hold the book up another month. So, Scalawags and I came together with a plan, and I'm not using that satin ribbon. Instead, what we're doing is we're going to give everybody a nice bookmark. I think 8 inches by 2.5 inches or something like that, 2.2 inches. So, and everyone's going to get that as a stretch goal because I'm not waiting. I want this book. I need this book here by Wednesday to ship out because I have people coming in from Mexico to work for us. Now they're Americans who live in Mexico.
She said, "Yeah, friends coming from out of the country to help."
Yeah, I know. I got a buddy
Didn't sound right.
I got a buddy of mine who's retired and he's moved to Mexico, and now he's coming in to live with me for 3 weeks to live with us and to work for us. I got another buddy that took off work. I've got people coming in from all over the Northeast to come and help us fulfill this book. So I need this damn book. So I am not waiting for a stupid piece of red cloth. I'm sorry to hold this whole book up anymore.
Why don't we just have a fabric party and we'll go raid Joanne Fabrics?
Yeah, then we're gonna do.
There you go.
We'll have mimosas and fun.
So we're gonna do this double-sided, really sweet bookmark and
braided edge. It's gonna act as a safety
drinks with parasols.
Yeah.
So that's that. So that's gonna be your stretch goal instead of a piece of ribbon. It's going to be your own a nice trading card. So I apologize for any confusion or whatever. I hope I don't disappoint anyone because you didn't get your red ribbon in it, but that's kind of stupid anyway.
It was a stretch goal. It's a stretch goal anyway.
Stretch goal. So you're getting this. And it was a stretch
I think this is a better stretch goal.
Yeah,
a long time ago. So that's that. So.
All right. Well, that's a great update.
Thank you.
I'm pissed off though.
And that book should be bind. And now they had a snowstorm today in Tennessee where the plant is, so hopefully they'll bind it tomorrow, and they're going to airdrop. They're going to overnight us 1,000 copies so we can start fulfillment.
Fantastic.
You know, I used to be in the food business. So when you said you had people coming in from Mexico, all I could envision were people on the back of a pickup truck with big machetes to cut lettuce.
Yeah, no. It's my buddy who retired in Mexico. He's living the dream.
What kind of
That's
food
awesome.
industry were you in?
Yeah, really.
The produce industry, man, farming.
Dudes with machetes,
Gotcha.
man. All right.
I'm like, Jesus, I thought you liked pizza. Anyways, everyone, thanks for tuning
I
in.
love
We'll see you all
pizza.
next week.
We love pizza.
We'll see you all next week.
Appreciate
Keep an
you
eye out.
guys.
We got some great new shows coming out.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome campaigns. Rex, it was awesome to actually put a name to the face, get to hang out. Austin, it's great to see this incredible project you have going on and to meet you. And Billy, as always, it's great streaming with you.
Yep,
And we hope
support
everyone
these guys.
has...
Support Rex. Support Austin. Please, guys, check out their campaigns.
Definitely. And everyone have a fun weekend. And if you're getting any snow, stay safe out there.
You got really hurt 28 inches? No. Give me like 5 inches.
Like bring it like 3 to 6 or something.
That's what she said.
Oh,
1 to 24.
Well,
Boom.
That's still a lot of snow.
Still a lot of
Still
snow.
a lot of snow. Have a
It's
good
still
night,
a lot.
everyone.
Wait, so it's still a lot of snow?
It's still a lot of snow.
That's what she said.
Oh!
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us on Pop XP. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at the Pop XP and over on Instagram at the Pop XP. Thanks again everyone, and we'll see you soon.